So, if you've been watching this week, you know it's been a rough stretch of GTA 6 news, and today's not really turning that around. I want to talk about two things that are actually connected: the region lock situation and the whole disc versus no disc fight, because now we've got a former Rockstar animator and Rockstar's own co founder both weighing in, and neither of them is being diplomatic about it. I want to walk through what actually got confirmed on the region lock, what this ex-Rockstar guy said about it, then get into the disc debate and what Rockstar's co-founder just said about it, and then where I think this actually leaves us. So here's the official piece first. No speculation needed here. This is straight from Rockstar's own support page. Quote, "The digital download code for Grand Theft Auto 6 works differently depending on the platform and country of purchase." And then it goes further. It says codes from specific regions like the UK, North America, LATAM, rest of EMEA, and Asia can only be redeemed by accounts registered in the countries listed under them. That's Rockstar on their own support site confirming it. And on top of that, we already knew Xbox Series X and S are getting none of this. No lock at all over there. It's PS5 specific. Okay, so that's the official confirmation. Now here's the part that's actually new to today. Mike York, who's a former Rockstar animator, he worked on GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, and GTA Online. He talked about this in an interview with Covers, and he did not hold back. He called the region lock messy and really disappointing, specifically because of how hard it makes things if you ever move countries and you're trying to keep your library. I'll be honest with you, I don't know a ton about this account's track record when it comes to calling stuff correctly ahead of time, so weigh what he's saying accordingly. This isn't a guy with a string of confirmed leaks behind him that I can point to. He's speaking from having actually worked at the studio on these exact games, which counts for something, but it's not the same as a track record of correct calls. Here's the thing, though, and I think this is actually the most useful part of what he said. York doesn't think it's Rockstar's fault. His words were that it was probably a governmental decision, basically pointing the finger at platform or regulatory requirements rather than Rockstar choosing to lock people out. But even with that caveat, he still flat out called it a garbage policy. So let's actually break down what this means, because region lock gets thrown around a lot, and I don't think everyone knows what's actually happening under the hood. GTA 6 is shipping digital only. That box on the shelf isn't a disc, it's a code in a box. On PS5, that code is tied to the region it was sold in, and it'll only activate on a PSN account registered in one of a specific list of countries. So if you buy a UK copy, but your PlayStation account is registered somewhere that's not on that list, the code just won't redeem. People get around it by spoofing an account location, but that's against Sony's terms of service, and it can get you banned. Xbox players don't deal with any of this. Preload, play, doesn't matter where you are. So why does this matter? Because GTA is one of the most bought, most gifted, most imported games on the planet. People move, people buy copies abroad, people buy for family overseas. A digital lock like this turns a simple purchase into a logistics problem for a huge chunk of the world. Okay, so item 2, and this one's actually connected to the first story, because it's the reason the region lock even exists in the first place. GTA 6 doesn't ship with a disc. Full stop. What you get in the box is a download code, and Rockstar's own store page literally says, physical code in box version, no disc included. That's straight from Rockstar, so that part isn't up for debate. Now here's who's talking about it. Dan Houser, Rockstar's co-founder, the guy who basically wrote GTA and Red Dead for years before he left the company, was at San Diego Comic-Con this past weekend promoting a comic he's working on, and IGN asked him about the whole physical media fight. Here's what he said, close to word for word. Quote, "I don't know that I care, but if people want that, I think companies should provide it." And then he added, "But I don't know that I personally care." I want to flag this the same way I flagged York. I don't have a track record to point to here, either in terms of him calling things correctly ahead of time. What he does have is that he's a named co-founder speaking on the record at a public event, so this isn't an anonymous tip. It's an actual quote from an actual exec, just one who left the company a while back and isn't part of GTA 6's actual decisions anymore. So, mechanism explainer quickly. Why does this even matter beyond one guy's opinion? Because Sony announced it's ending disc production for PlayStation entirely by January 2028, and GTA 6 launching without a disc lands right in the middle of that fight. There's actually a petition going around called Don't Kill the Disc, and as of right now, it's sitting at over 346,000 verified signatures. That's not a random number I'm pulling out of nowhere, that's a documented real petition total. Here's why it actually matters for you. No disc means no reselling the actual game data, no lending it to a friend the old way, and it means if a storefront ever goes down for good, your access to the game is tied to an account instead of a piece of plastic in your hand. That's the entire ownership argument in a sentence. Now, I want to be super clear. This next part is me speculating grain of salt on all of it. I have no inside info confirming why Rockstar or Sony landed on this specific setup instead of just letting codes work everywhere the way Xbox does. York's read is that it's a platform or regulatory call, and honestly, that tracks with how PSN account restrictions already work in a bunch of countries. This isn't Rockstar inventing something new, it's GTA 6 running into an existing PlayStation limitation. But I don't have anything solid tying it to a specific policy or law, so take that as an educated guess, not a confirmed reason. And on the disc side, here's my speculation, and only my speculation. Hauser doesn't run Rockstar anymore? So this is basically him publicly nudging the industry rather than actually influencing what happens with GTA 6 specifically. I don't think his comments change Rockstar's plans for this release. I think it's more him weighing in on a bigger industry fight that GTA 6 just happens to be sitting in the middle of. Again, that's a guess on my part, not something Rockstar or Hauser has confirmed. Here's my honest take on the sales side of this, because I don't think this is going to be some huge story pass this week. GTA is big enough and people want in badly enough that a chunk of players will just deal with it, buy a copy through a different storefront, or straight up buy hardware just for this game. That's basically York's read too. He doesn't think it meaningfully dents sales. I don't think this is nothing. It's a genuinely bad experience for people who move around or buy internationally, but I also don't think it's the thing that slows GTA 6 down. And on the disc thing, honestly, I don't think Hauser's comments change anything about GTA 6 itself. The box is what it is at this point, but I do think it adds real weight to the bigger argument, because now you've got the guy who co-founded the studio publicly saying companies should offer discs if people want them, right as his old company ships the exact opposite. That's going to keep getting brought up. So let's put all of this together. Officially, Rockstar's support page confirms the region lock exists on PS5, tied to account country, none of this on Xbox. And Rockstar's own store page confirms the physical edition is code in box with no disc. A former Rockstar animator, track record unclear on my end, is calling the region lock garbage and messy, while saying it's probably not Rockstar's call to begin with. Separately, Rockstar's own co-founder, also without a track record I can point to here, is on record saying companies should provide discs if people want them, even though he's not involved in GTA 6 anymore. My speculation on both, and only my speculation, is that the region lock traces back to an existing PlayStation limitations rather than something Rockstar invented, and that Hauser's comments are him weighing in on the wider industry fight rather than actually shifting GTA 6's plans. And where I land on it, both of these are real inconveniences, one for people who move countries, one for people who care about owning a physical copy, but I don't think either one slows down day one numbers in any real way. But now with all of that, I want to hear from you. Does a region lock like this actually change whether you buy day one? And does the no disc thing bother you, or are you buying regardless? Either way, let me know your take in the comments below. I'll be reading through all of them. And while you're at it, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more videos just like this one. All right, with that out of the way, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.